Today, we're diving into something really fascinating. It's an idea called Avajas, and it's all about a radical new way to look at reforestation in Africa. We're talking about shifting it from just being an environmental goal into a real, wealth-generating economy for millions of people.
So get this. Right now, there is a massive green revolution happening across Africa. I mean, we're talking billions of trees being planted. Kenya, just on its own, is aiming for 15 times billion. That's an unbelievable amount of natural capital, right? But, and this is the big question, the paradox that kicks off our whole story today, with all of this green going into the ground, where's the wealth? Where's the economic benefit for the very people who need it the most?
Well, the answer seems to lie in this huge disconnect. It's like we have two powerful systems, right? Both trying to do good things, but they're running on totally separate tracks, almost in different universes. And in that gap between them, a massive opportunity is just falling through the cracks. Okay, so let's break that down. Think of it this way. On one hand, you've got the official government programs. They have all the legitimacy, all the authority, but they hit a wall, a huge logistical wall. I mean, how do you physically check on millions or even billions of trees? It's just impossible to scale, so that system gets stuck. Then on the other hand, you have the world of academia, with these brilliant economic theories about how trees can be valuable assets. But that's all they are, theories. They have no platform, no way to actually connect with the farmers on the ground. So you've got policy here and potential over there, with this giant chasm right in the middle.
So what this really boils down to is that the whole model is just fundamentally broken. It's like we're trying to solve a 21st century problem using 20th century tools. You simply can't count billions of trees by hand. The system treats them like statistics, just numbers on a spreadsheet, not the living, valuable products they are. And maybe the biggest flaw of all? The system expects citizens and farmers to do all this important documentation and verification work for free. There's just zero incentive. It completely ignores how people are actually motivated.
And look, this isn't some abstract, theoretical problem. The cost is real, and people are paying it every single day. Governments spend all this money on planting, but then they miss their climate targets because there's no real way to follow up. You've got high youth unemployment, even though there's all this valuable verification work that needs doing. And then you have the farmers, people doing incredible, sustainable work, who are forced to sell their amazing coffee and cocoa at bargain basement prices because they have no way to prove its value. The end result? The entire continent's potential to build real green wealth just grinds to a halt.
Okay, so we've laid out this huge, seemingly impossible verification problem. But what if we're looking at it completely the wrong way? What if that problem isn't actually a problem? What if it's the key that unlocks the entire solution? Well, that is the absolutely brilliant idea at the heart of Avajas.
Avajas is the bridge that spans that chasm we talked about. At its core, it's a platform that solves the verification problem by doing something totally unexpected. It turns verification into a game. It's designed to create a system powered by people, one that doesn't just make verification possible at scale, but also transforms every single tree into a traceable, valuable asset that can generate real, honest-to-goodness income.
All right, so how does this actually work in the real world? And this is where we get into the engine room of the whole system. How on earth do you get millions of people excited about going out to verify trees? And maybe more importantly, how do you make it something they actually want to keep doing?
The first thing Avajas does is blow the doors open on who can be a verifier. It creates all these different ways to participate. Yeah, you can do the traditional on-the-ground visit if you're close by, but you can also do it remotely. Just upload geotagged, time-stamped photos or even short videos showing a tree's growth. There's even an AI layer that helps with quality control. But here's the most important part. Every valid act of verification earns you rewards. That's what makes it so accessible and, scalable.
Now, this is where things get really smart. The rewards you earn from verification, they're not just some one-off payment. They are your ticket into a whole ecosystem of games. And these games are designed to build actual real-world skills. It's a whole journey. So you might start with something called chess staking, where you use your earnings to stake on your own chess skills online, totally risk-free. Then maybe you graduate to prediction markets, using your judgment to forecast the success of different tree planting projects. Chrono Siege is a strategy game that teaches long-term resource planning. And at the very top, you have the Shadow Syndicate, where the best players actually get to help govern the platform. It's not just a game, it's a ladder of mastery.
And here is the absolute golden rule, the thing that makes this whole ecosystem tick. You never lose your principal stake. Let me say that again. You never lose what you put in. This is not gambling. It is a system built on skill, accuracy, and strategic thinking. It's all about upside, and this is so crucial because it takes away the fear and builds the trust you need to get people to stick around for the long haul.
Okay, so we've got this growing army of citizen verifiers, all engaged in earning rewards. That's always the first half of the equation, right? But what about the farmers? How does all this activity, all this verification, actually translate into cold, hard cash, real value for the people planting the trees?
This is the magic step. Every single tree that gets verified on the platform is given something called a digital twin. The best way to think about it is like a digital birth certificate for that tree. It's unique, it's secured on a blockchain, which just means it's a permanent tamper-proof record, and it literally transforms a physical tree into a traceable digital asset.
And this digital passport, it tracks everything. I mean, everything. It has the farmer's identity and the tree's exact GPS location. It contains the complete history of every verification. It tracks growth and health milestones and even crucial sustainability info, like water usage. So when that farmer eventually harvests coffee beans from that tree, that entire rich history is attached directly to the product. It's all right there.
And here is the incredible result for the farmers. Because now, a buyer anywhere in the world can see undeniable, auditable proof that this coffee is sustainable, that it was ethically sourced, and they're willing to pay a premium for that certainty. Suddenly, farmers can get price premiums of 30, 40, even 50% for the very same high-quality goods they were growing all along.
All right, let's bring this all down to earth and make it super tangible. I want you to meet two people. Sarah, she's a coffee farmer, and James, a young guy in her local community. Let's walk through how this whole AVJazz ecosystem connects them and changes their lives.
So here's how it goes. Step 1. Sarah plants 500 new coffee trees and registers them on the AVJazz platform. Almost instantly, James gets a notification on his phone. A new verification task is available nearby. Step 2. He heads over to Sarah's farm, takes the required photos, and uploads the proof. Boom! He immediately earns rewards. Step 3. James takes those earnings and starts playing the games, honing his skills, which keeps him engaged with the platform. Meanwhile, Sarah is tending to her farm. Then, Step 4. A few years down the line, Sarah harvests her coffee. Each batch is now linked to its digital twin. A premium buyer in, say, Europe scans the code, sees the entire verified history, and happily pays a 40% premium. Sarah makes more money, James has a steady, dignified income stream, and the whole system works. The loop is complete. Now, that story of Sarah and James is incredibly powerful for a single farm, a single community. But the real vision here is so much bigger. It's about taking this model and scaling it up to build an entire continent's green economy, literally from the ground up. And when you really step back and look at the whole picture, you see why this just works. It elegantly solves that massive government verification bottleneck we talked about at the beginning. It takes those brilliant academic ideas and makes them real. It's designed to be economically self-sustaining so it doesn't depend on foreign aid forever. And maybe most crucially, the psychology is sound. It's about skill, not luck. Plus, it's designed to plug right into existing infrastructure and work with governments, not replace them.
So, what's the plan? Well, the roadmap is ambitious, for sure, but it's also crystal clear. It all starts with a pilot program in Kenya, proving the concept with the first 100,000 trees. Then you scale it up nationwide to over 1 billion trees, turning Kenya into a showcase for the world. And from there, you expand across the continent, building a true Pan-African foundation for this new, people-powered green economy.
When you boil it all down, AVJazz is really built on one simple but totally profound shift in thinking. It takes its shore, verification, and transforms it into an opportunity for dignified, engaging work. And that creates this beautiful, positive feedback loop where everybody wins. Citizens get an income, farmers get access to better markets, governments actually meet their climate goals, which leaves us with a really powerful final question. Could it be that the key to unlocking Africa's incredible green wealth isn't some new top-down policy, but is actually a really well-designed game?